Okay, so today we're interviewing Mr. Harmse, Rudi. We're going to be asking him a few questions as to the operations at NMU, and we know that he was director at some point. I don't know, is that correct? The director.
I don't think director would be right.
Okay, but you was involved in developing the curriculum and for the support streams and ComNet, and he has more insight as to how these streams were constructed and put together, and the reason and the purpose, and we just want to ask you to elaborate more on this and the reason for this.
Okay, yeah. The whole process with the NQF was the qualifications and putting it all together.
Yes.
And the old technicons back then got together in defining the national diplomas and the BTEC programs with that and the streams and all of that. So it actually was done nationally.
Yes.
I was involved there very much with the support services side of that. I was in charge of the support services stream here and actually originally curriculated that. And also was involved in the communication networks streams definition at that end. So yeah, a lot of it had to do with getting a common framework across the country between the different technicons back then, so that they would actually have the same qualification at the different institutions. So that's where the different areas come in. And obviously, originally we were running software development. That was the main stream of what the importance of technicon was doing. And then we introduced a technical application stream, which had some electrical engineering, digits kind of things in it. And out of that evolved the communication network stream, in collaboration with Telkom.
Yes.
We wanted networking specialists that can talk to their electrical engineers at Telkom. And that was really the history of the communication network stream, was focused at that need. So it's very much focused at the telecoms need for skills. Now the support services stream is kind of a bit of a different animal in that it doesn't have that engineering focus on things. And nationally, the support service is all about IT support and a lot of it running support centers and things like that. But within the support services stream, there is another specialization as well, because you're not just in supporting people, you are a specialist in something. And so nationally there is IT support, and that's very much the factors like dealing with users, that's a common factor around it. So you look at our support services 3 curriculum, for example, and what's happening at some other universities, we're actually doing very much the same kind of content there. So that's like a common ground in between it. Also, project management is something you'll find common across the different ones. But with us, we have a strong networking department here and a lot of networking strength there. So if you were to do IT support at some of the other universities, you'll find they have different focuses there. So the networking part for us here, support services qualification, is very much networking skills, is your technical skill you come up with, on above your project management and your user interaction skills. While if you go to some other universities, your technical skill might be more focused on statistics, or so it's more about managing the performance of a support center, rather than having like a very specialized technical skill in the networks like what we've got.
So I'd like to ask you also, over the years, how has the different streams evolved, the content of what the lecturers are lecturing on and so forth, to actually how can I say, fully prepare them and keep up to date with with content or material that has changed over the years, also throughout the different universities and so forth.
Yeah, see now education university is obviously a mix, especially applied qualifications like what we're doing. Your technical kind of skills need to be updated the whole time.
Yes.
Right? So you'll find, and then if your technical focus in support services is on the networking side, then obviously there is where we have our continuous updating all the time. So the Cisco curriculum, for example, keeps being updated with the new things, and that stays completely current with the side there. All of the operating system things like that as well, the technical things have to keep being updated. The more theoretical, foundational, educational things stay more the same in core, but still, yeah, there is an updating all the time and enhancing of the things that are there. So in essence, there's still project management and things being taught, but there's been changes across the way. Now, with the old qualification framework falling away and big changes nationally in the country, obviously the old qualifications are also actually phasing out. BTEC is going away, all of those sort of things. And basically the old national diplomas are also going away. They're being replaced by new diplomas. And in that sense, part of the evolution of where we've been going, especially with our university, we support services and networking. The networking part is actually the same networks between the two. And a support services person goes into the BTEC communication network. So those are really coming together with a diploma that is actually networking and infrastructure. So you'll see immediately now it totally ties the qualification to the technical skills of the networking side, while it actually still covers the additional other skills of supporting within a business the users. It does move away from that telecoms focus of the communication network stream, which is really the distinguishing aspect of that qualification. So it's kind of like an evolution of our support services, but in the way we're doing it, not the way it is nationally, because it is got the network focus, but with some aspects of the communication network stream sort of going into it as well with the merger of it.
Okay, I also like to ask you the importance of BTEC and masters and doctor. Why can't you just go into the the working environment, just my diploma and just start working?
Yeah, that's actually kind of a complicated question, because at the end of the day, it is a bit of a pyramid.
Yes.
Not everybody does a doctorate, not everybody is going to do a master's. So, and not even everybody does a BTEC. Now, part of it's the way the world moves. More and more people get qualifications, and kind of like, if you just take from a competitive point of view, you want to have more qualifications than the people you're competing with, and that kind of does lead to a stretch on that. But part of it's also just the educational side of it and the mindset, especially coming through the diploma. You're very much focused on specific skills. It's like, it is education, it's broader, but you are focusing on very specific aspects there. While your broader education, your education is broader than the BTEC. You do more general kind of things. And certainly going up to the masters. The masters, we have to distinguish between a taught masters and a research masters. So there's some issues there as well that you need to consider. So that can make a difference as well. Like if you go up, for example, your options in the master's level, you're getting more specialized. So as you go up higher, you get more specialized. With a general degree, that's what would happen all the way. But with a diploma, you will already specialize in the diploma, while a degree is more general. So what happens with the BTEC now is it actually gives you a more general background. It's still in IT, but it just broadens your educational other things. But then when you go to the masters, you specialize in something. Even if you're doing research, you're becoming a specialist in something that you're researching. A doctorate specifically, I would say, is kind of like the easier one to answer. I don't think doing a doctorate is at all necessary for everybody. If you're going into an academic career, it's kind of an expected thing.
Yes.
Maybe in some of the consulting kind of careers, it can be of benefit. But in general, I think doing a PhD is a bit of a harder choice in general. But from a career benefit point of view, you can certainly benefit all the way up to doing a master's, and there's a lot you learn in there. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily a requirement career-wise. And certainly a lot of people do work even with a diploma. If you're looking internationally, of course, the diploma is maybe not as recognized in as many places. They don't understand it. America, for example, have 4-year qualifications as their normal degree, and then they have 2-year qualifications. So they have associate degrees and a full degree. So they don't have the concept of this 3-year thing at all that you've got in between. So they just don't understand what to do with it. So they essentially will see it as an associate degree.
Okay, also I'd like to ask the prospects for students that are leaving with their diploma and so forth. What can they expect, and in terms of the employer, what do the employer initially expect of the graduate with their diploma, now entering into the working environment, and how can they improve their chances of getting a job essentially?
Yeah, now the diploma is only part of your education. There's a lot you need to learn as well. I think so. A lot of companies will almost see it as like it's an internship. A lot of times students will go into learnerships to get those other skills, the kind of things you do not get in the classroom. Also, what employees want to see is your ability to work in a workplace, work with other people. So even just doing part-time work, part-time jobs, things like that, actually does enhance your employability simply because it proves that you've actually been able to work in that kind of environment. So just doing things like that is already useful. Even if it's not directly related to IT, a lot of what people want to see is just the fact that you can work with people.
Yeah.
So oftentimes that is a good way to go with things. Otherwise as well, IT is about doing. So at the end of the day, you can't just push things around. I mean, when you walk out, the things have to work, right? You can't just be busy. So yeah, you need to make sure you've got the skills.
Okay. I'd also like to ask you, what makes you successful as an IT professional?
The IT professional is multifaceted. IT, by definition, is the use of the technology within business and organizations. So yes, you have to have technical skills because you're working with technical things, but at the same time, you are typically supporting. Right? Even if it's not support services, IT as a field is about supporting business, which means you will be working with other people. So the actual human aspects are actually also quite important with things. That's one of the feedback you'll sometimes get with students. They didn't realize it when they get in the workplace, and when they'll come back and say it's like they realize, there's how you deal with the users, the feedback from the users, how important that is. Well, they were focused all the time on the technical skills, and actually that part is very important.
So I would like to ask, what makes Rudi successful as a person?
What makes me successful as a person? Well, for me personally, I just run on enthusiasm. I care about what I do, and I think that comes across when you deal with people, when you actually care about what you're doing versus doing it because I have to. So for me, it's a big thing there. But it's also like being able to both not be scared of getting technical with things, but not living there. Things aren't technical for the sake of being technical, but it's always to meet a purpose, to achieve something. And if you can achieve the thing without getting all technical, then by all means do so. But don't be scared of getting technical when you need to. And I think that's very much where IT sits. You need to keep it simple when you need to, but when you get there and you need to kind of get down and make things work, then you should be willing and able to do it.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Harmse, and for answering the questions. And there's a lot that we can actually take from this, and apply when we actually go in the working environment. And this is what we actually try to establish for students. Just to give them a bit of insight, because a lot of students actually tend to become complacent. Essentially, even when they're in the working environment, some of them get retrenched as IT students because they're not keeping up to date with the latest technologies. And even certification is also very important as an IT professional. And as he had said, Mr. Harmse had said, is that IT is actually a multifaceted industry. And there's many things that you can actually look at, and it's more also on the technical side, not only the technical side, but also on how we treat people and actually supporting the business. Essentially, so this is sums up the interview that we actually had here today. And I'd like to thank everyone, even the guys behind the camera conducting the interview, and so forth. I'd just like to thank you for your time, and all this was coming to an end.